So, okay, you can do more with scripts. Let's get rid of those and make a roll with the dice to get more fractals looking like row Julia. Yes. If you want to make more script that uses certain variations that you like and make a random fractal script of them, it's not very hard. I'll show you how to do that. You go to make new and we decide what variations that we want to have. This is the Flame 3 Legacy. You can use that. These are the variations that is contained in this Flame 3 Legacy variation set. And you can see we don't have the hypertile, but we do have the subflame and subflame final. So I want to find a good combination here that gives interesting random fractals. We already have Julia, so we don't use that one. We don't want anything in the pre and post group right now. Let's get rid of all those. So what do we want? Let's try a cross. And I usually set symmetry to -1 because then I get symmetry that the left and right side look alike. If we use this one now and roll a bunch of fractals, you see you get a lot of crosses here, but not very defined shapes. And if we don't use any symmetry at all, you get this result. So let's use -1 again. And the trick now is to find good levels on stuff that give you a large number of good looking fractals. So we start by decreasing this weight. You can see that it starts to become more defined. Let's continue and decrease it a bit more. Yes, but not quite there yet, I think. What happens if we add a cross in the pre group? My aim now is to make a row cross variation script. Now we have a cross here as a pre group, and we have it set to 1 weight. That doesn't mean that all the variations put into these random fractals will have a weight of 1, but rather that the script chooses a random number and it's multiplied with this number. So you get higher numbers, random numbers, if you have 1, and you get lower random numbers if you have it lower. And if you want real high, you can enter another. You can enter 3 there. This slide won't go so far, but you can enter it numerically there. Now it starts to look a little better, a little more interesting. This was rather nice. Not bad at all, actually. I like that. And what do I do when I like stuff? I add it to the stash. The stash grows very fast. So let's make another. Oh, that's good. You see, you start to get interesting hits here. That looks good too. Stash that too. You could put another variation on top of this and lay them. Another fractal, I say, not another variation. Okay, so what happens if we lower the weight of the pre-cross? You don't get that much interesting then. Maybe we should make it higher. Let's make it 3. See what we get. Well, maybe. Or 2. I think that 1 was enough there. But we'll make another roll so we see where we are. Okay. So let's try to bring in the post group too. We want across there too. There. And the weight is set to 1. You see you start to get more complex fractals here. There are more shapes that are intertwined here. There are more shapes that make up this fractal than when we didn't have the post group. Like that one too. Save it. Make another run. And you go on like this, and you make little tweaks so you get a large number of good hits. Let's make that smaller and see what happens. Oh, nothing much happens there. We make it bigger again. I like these hits. These hits are good, but these other ones don't do a lot of good, I think. It's hard to reach a point where all the random generated fractals will give you a interesting and good fractal. The goal here is to get such large amount of good fractal as possible. We don't have any parameters to set for the cross, but what if we bring in something else than cross? Let's try to bring in a blur. We don't want the blur set very high. If we have it high, we get this result, which is rather good actually. I'm surprised. That's one of the reasons to use this software, because you're always taken by surprise. Let's make it smaller. Yeah, that's better. So maybe we could do that and add a blur to this. This won't be a raw cross random script, but we can make it a cross blur random script. That one is good too. Yeah, absolutely. Dash it. Let's see if we lower it more. Will that give a positive effect? Maybe. It's hard sometimes to know if it's like when you're trying out new glasses. They put a little lens in front of you and they say, is that better? And it's very hard to say if it is, because the difference is so small. And that's a little bit like the effect you get with this too. Is it better? I don't know. It's different. But is it better? That's for you to decide. Make the cross variation a little bit heavier. Yeah, now we're starting to arrive at a high rate of usable fractals. These can be used very easily as good backgrounds. We take this one and we stash it, and we see what we have. Take that and add that, and you get something that can be interesting. Yeah. Okay. I usually don't add a final transform when I make these random fractal scripts, because I want to be able to add different final transforms with the tweak scripts later or by hand. So I try to find a combination here without final transform that will make it interesting. We have now one linked transform, and if we lower that to 0, what will happen then? Not much really. Okay, make it more. 2 of the transforms will be linked, and then you get a little more interesting, more details. But what happens if we increase the number of transforms to say 6? Oh yes, that can be rather interesting too. I like that one. Let's wait for the resolution to kick in. Yes, good background. I'll say that too. Okay, make another spin. I don't know, are we finished with this, or do we want to change it more? Do we want more good hits? You want a minimum of 3 transforms, not 2. What will that make? We sort out the random fractals that have only 2 transforms. Well, you can have that set to 2. Okay, and of course we can bring in more stuff since we're not doing a row cross random fractal script anymore. Bipolar. Yeah. Well, you see how you do this. Let's get rid of the bipolar, and we'll lower the way to the cross again. I like these results. You get a high rate of good and usable fractals. So let's save that and call it cross blur. We go to save as Lua Scripts, and we call it cross blur, and save it. So let's go now to scripted random. We have the row Julia script here. Let's find cross blur. It's here. Here your own script ends up. Cross blur. You see you get the same result as you did on the make new. And this is the script that we saved. We can, if we find that they look noisy and lacks detail here, we can adjust the quality, make it higher, 4.8, and this button here re-renders all the previews. See, they look cleaner already. Oh, that's beautiful. You know what we do with something that is beautiful? We put it in the stash. Okay, so now I can add other stuff here. Let's try to add a final transform, random final transform, and it adds a set of different random transforms. You got UVs in there, you got bipolars, you got some other stuff. That's nice. Or we can add random dual final transform, since we can have more than one final transform now. Ah, ha, 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 look at that. A flower. Makes me think of an old Genesis song. Okay, I want to show you another thing here about subflames. You can have here subflames. You have 2 subflame types here. You can add a subflame X form or a subflame subflame final X form. If we add an X form, it comes pre-populated with a simul3 script, which means it uses a random fractal from the simul3 variation script and put it into the subflame. It looks something like this. Here you can see the subflames. A subflame, of course, if you don't know that already, is a variation type that takes the input from another fractal and use it as a shape in the fractal that you set the subflame in. And we can decide what script, random fractal script, the subflame is going to fetch its content from. Let's choose another thing. Why not choose the cross blur that we just made? Let's see what the result that will give us. Yes, you get a combination of the cross blur and the raw Julia there. We might want to increase the quality, make another run. Yeah, rather interesting. Not bad at all, actually. Or let's try something else. Instead of the cross blur that we loaded it with, let's load it with something else. You can only load it with one script. Well, let's take a raw Julia. What will that give us? A raw Julia as subflame. You can see now that it changed the variation set to another set, because the Julia isn't present in the Flame 3 legacy set. And we run into a problem there, I think. We got no good hits, but you can set in the preferences what gets sorted out and what don't get sorted out. If we take away the filter here, you see you get mostly black flames. And that's not what we want. Let's change the variation script back. We can add this F3 May 2018 that I made, because I have the hypertile set there. And we can use, I have Julia there too, actually. Let's see, try to use that. Oh, now you get something here, but it's filtered, not filtered, so let's filter it. Get rid of this stuff that don't look like anything we want to use. We don't get many good hits using that, so let's abort that and load it with something else than Julia. No Julia, but we can make a flower star. What will that give you? Some interesting stuff here. This was rather nice. Maybe that one. A lot of stuff that doesn't look like much either. That one was nice. But you see, you get another result depending on what script you choose to load the subflame with. Let's use here, I sort this by name. I have something called a star twist. The star twist isn't in the factory scripts, but it can be downloaded from in the internet from what is called GitHub. Is it GitHub? Well, I can put some information about that in the comments to this video, if you like. start twist. We have loaded it with start twist now. And you see, this is the result you get from the start twist. But we had another version of the subflame variation too. We abort that and we get rid of the add subflame, and we use the subflame final. It uses the subflame as a final transform. And let's load that with the start twist script 2. See what will give you, what result you will get from that. Now we have a subflame loaded with a random fractal from the start twist script as a final subflame. A lot of round shape there that are not very interesting. No, I don't like that. Let's load it with something else. Get rid of the start twist, and we can load it with a Julia scope, not Lua scope. Let's load it with raw Julia scope. And this is the result you get from that. The tweak scripts can be found in the variants editor too. Let's take that one and open it up in the variant editor. And it comes preset with color gradient change. Choose Lua Scripts, and we can choose to add something here. My favorite, a hypertile. What will happen if we add that? But more complex fractals. You can find something nice here. Or we can add something else. Let's add, what should we add? Let's add a new post variation. What do we want to load that with? Let's see, what do we have? Setup variation. Bubble. Post bubble. And you get another result. So you can make a lot of these tweak scripts yourself, add stuff here in a list, save the list, and you can use them in the variation editor or in the make new scripted random generator, or make new too. You can add scripts here too. You have all the scripts here that you can add. So that's a bit about working with scripts. If you have any question, feel free to ask them in the comments, and if you like to see more tutorials, please subscribe, and I will be back with other tutorials. Thank you.